Releasing your music. It's one of the things that I talk about a lot here on the channel. And the reason for that is that if you are creating art, in our case, music, then the best thing you can do with that music is to share it with the world. And the way that I share my music is using a distribution service called Distrokid. I've talked about it before on the channel. I've uploaded my music before using Distrokid. And today I'm going to take you through all of the features that we have here in Distrokid that we can use to not only upload our music, but manage our music that's been released and check in on how our music is performing. So let's go. Hi, my name is Pete. This is Studio Live today, where I help you to create, record, and release your best music. And release is what we're talking about here today because we're looking at DistroKid, a distribution platform. Now, before we get into DistroKid, what is distribution? What does that mean to distribute or distribute your music? Well, it means that you're pushing it out to iTunes, to Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, all of the different platforms where people can purchase or stream your music. And streaming is something that's super popular at the moment and continues to grow and grow. A lot of people have Apple Music or Spotify streaming services, and Amazon, Google, a lot of others are getting in on the act. So what I wanted to do today is go through all of the features that we have here in DistroKid and why I use it to release my music and why you should consider using DistroKid or a similar service to actually get your music out there, to get it released to the rest of the world so others can listen to your art. So here we are in my DistroKid account, and before we dive in here, full disclosure, I do have an affiliate link with DistroKid. If you go to distro.studiolivetoday.com and you do choose to use DistroKid and use the service, then you can get 7% discount and DistroKid will actually break off a little chunk and send it my way. So if you'd like to support the channel and you're keen to distribute your music, that is a great win-win proposition right there. I just wanted to put that right up there on Front Street before we dive in and look at this content, because what I want to do is show you some of the cool features and some of the power of DistroKid. And as I mentioned, as I actually may not have mentioned, it is just $19.99 per month. No, $19.99 per year, even better, for unlimited uploads. So for less than 20 bucks a year, you can upload an unlimited amount of music. And in my first year, I actually uploaded, I think, at least the first 5 here. I've been a DistroKid member for about a year and a half now, and the majority of these I released in the first 12 months. And then the last few singles here have been my more recent singles that were released more recently in just the last few months. So I've got a lot of value out of this so far. You can see all of the songs, all the albums that I've got here. Most of these are singles with a couple of EPs, 4-track EPs that I've released, and we can see all of the different platforms that all of those songs and EPs have been released to. So this is just sort of a little sample. There's also hundreds of other smaller platforms that we release to when we release through DistroKid. Now, I have showed before how we upload, so I'm not going to go into detail on this, but what I'll do in this video is we'll go across the top here. I'll show you all of these little options we have here, including the bank one. Yes, I will show you the actual earnings that I make using DistroKid. I'm not too afraid to show that, mostly because it is not a whole lot of money. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to the bank section. But you can see here it's a very clean and very simple interface. We can click on any of these to actually go into the options for those particular items, for those particular singles, and we'll do that as we go along. But to start with, let's go across the top here and show you the options. So the first one here is to upload, and this should be fairly self-explanatory. We're going to load up the upload option here, and what this is going to help us do is if we wanted to release music, then we can actually upload a music file. So we can upload our master. I've talked about mastering before. When you finish recording and mixing a song, you want to master your song, which means you get it as close to radio ready, or these days streaming ready, as you possibly can, and then you're going to distribute it by uploading it here. So the way we would do that, we select the stores, any and all of the online stores that we want to send that out to, that we want to release our music to. We tell it whether it's a song, a single, or an album, and how many tracks are actually on the album. Have we released it before? What's the artist or band name? Now, with the $20 account, $19.99 per year, you get one artist or band name. So if it's you, it's you. If it's your band, it's your band. If you want more than that, there are other options, which we'll talk to when we go down the upgrade path, either later in this video or perhaps another whole video just about the upgrade process. But at the moment, I'm on the starter account at $19.99 per month, already in iTunes. So if you're not in iTunes, it will create an iTunes account for you. I actually have Pete Johns in iTunes. You can go there right now and search Pete Johns, and you'll see all of this music, and already in Spotify. So yes, I am already in Spotify. Again, you can go to Spotify and see all of my music there as well. The release date. So we can only release today on the 19.99 account. If you have one of the more expensive accounts, which are still not that expensive, I think $35.99 for the next account, and that you can actually select a future release date. So if you want your album to drop on a particular day, you can set that in advance and have it release when you choose to. iTunes pre-order, once again, we don't have that option, but if you go to the upgrade, you can do that. Same with the record label. You can name your own record label. So maybe when I upgrade, it won't be distrokid.com. It'll be Studio Live Today Records or whatever I want to call it. So there is the option. You can do that if you always wanted to own your own record label or at least name your own record label. You can do that. The album cover, we throw our album cover in here, and then we choose the language, the genre, the secondary genre, and then we get down to the nitty gritty of naming our track, and it gives us a bunch of, I guess, suggestions about how we should name our track properly. The songwriter, so whether it's your own song or a cover, and if it's a cover song, it's okay, but it does cost you an extra, I think, 99 cents per month to have a cover released on here. I've got one cover song and it's cost about $12 a year, which is a lot more than it makes me, I'll tell you. But you can actually release covers doing that, and that's so that they can pay the songwriters and the other contributing artist. Doesn't have explicit lyrics. The actual price, so for iTunes, and again with the 19.99 account, you can only set it at 99 cents for the cost, which is your standard cost for US, and that's the whatever equivalent it is. It's $1.69 here in Australia. It's whatever the pounds, euros, and your local currency is as well. You select your audio file, you throw it in there, you let it know whether it's an instrumental or whether it contains lyrics. And then there's a whole bunch of add-ons and extras, which, to be honest, I haven't ever actually done. You can jump in and read about those, or jump in and have a look in your own time, and you'll get billed additionally if you do that. We've then got our checkboxes at the end that, yes, you understand all of the different things you've selected. You hit done and it releases. And as I said, I'm not going to do that today. I've gone through more detail than I actually meant to, but that is the basics of uploading. And if you want to see me actually upload one of my tracks, you can jump into the video, which I have linked in the description. But let's move on for now and go to my music. And this will pop up a fairly similar sort of view to what we had at the very start there. The Wi-Fi is being quite slow here at the moment. I should have plugged into my network. So here is our view that we saw at the very start. So the My Music is your default view. And we'll come back to this and I'll show you some of the options when we click on the individual items once we go through all of the others. Let's click on Teams now and take a look at what we can do in the Teams section. So Teams is all about having other people involved in your music. So what we can do is we can select one of my albums here, and if I wanted to, I could go next here and we could actually add in other people to the team. So they'll need to have a DistroKid account. So if I did a collaboration with someone else and I wanted to say, right, Georgie, she actually has her own DistroKid account and we want to split the revenue 50-50, what I'll do is I'll add a new team member here, and then I'll say I want 50% of the revenue to go to me and 50% to go to them. If you've got a band and you've got 4 band members, you will all need accounts to do this, but you'll have 4 DistroKid accounts. You'll split the money 4 ways. Now, yes, you're all paying an additional fee to DistroKid in order to have the convenience of having that money split for you. You could always just have your one account with your band name and then have it split to the one, and then you have to do all your finances separately. So it depends on how clean you want that, but it's pretty cool that we have the Teams option there in order to do that if we wanted to. If you've got collaborations or if you've got other people, especially if they're using DistroKid, it makes it super easy to actually do that and release and share the revenue, which I think is super cool that that's included right here in the platform. So I've clicked on upgrade here just to speed things up a bit. As I mentioned before, I'm on the 1999 plan here, which is known as the musician plan. And with that, I get one artist or band name. I can upload unlimited songs, unlimited lyrics. I get the Spotify verified check mark, and I can only have one artist or band. If we look at what you can actually get with the next one's up, the 35.99 a year, we get two artist or band names, is the key difference. And the label, we can get five or more artist and band names, 5 to 100 by the looks of it. And the main differences we get here are things like our stats. When you go in and look at the stats that we have here, we don't have really sort of detailed daily stats. We can't customize a label name, release date, pre-order date, iTunes pricing, which we've talked about before, and we only get the one artist or band. We can have two if we are a musician plus. So if I was an artist, which I am, but if I was also part of a band and I wanted to distribute my band's music through the same label or through the same DistroKid account, I would need to have a musician plus. So I am actually going to upgrade to Musician Plus, so keep an eye on the channel and subscribe here if you want to see behind the scenes of the Musician Plus account. That video will be coming soon, but for now, I am just on the Musician account because, to be honest, it's all I've actually needed. I haven't needed the additional detail. I just want to go to Musician Plus because I want to release an album that I don't necessarily want to release for the, I think it's $16.99 that you have to release here in Australia, which I don't really want to charge people that much. And for the three or four people that may buy my album, they don't need to pay nearly $20 for it. I'd like to release it for $10 or something if I can. Anyway, let's move on from here. I'm going to now do what I know that most people are probably waiting for, which is to see the bank, because you got to make some bank, you got to make some coin with your music. No, okay, you don't really. I distribute my music more to have a record of it being released and to point people to it so that they can stream it, so that it's on all the platforms. So I can just say to people, search Pete Johns on Spotify, on iTunes, on Apple Music, wherever you are, and then you'll be able to find my music. It's just a really good way to have it out there. In terms of the actual revenue I make from selling my music and streaming my music, it's a secondary, if not tertiary, thing for me. It's nice. It's nice to say I'm a professional musician because someone somewhere has paid me to play or to actually stream my music or to buy my music, but it's not something that I really focus in on. So now that I've given you all of those provisos, here is the bank I've made of the big $38.23 that I have currently in my DistroKid account. So what we can do in this one, so this is from March 2017 through to May 2018. Now, the reason it's May 2018 is there's quite a bit of delay. It's actually July at the moment, but there's a 2 to 3 month delay in all of the store reporting and all of the revenue coming through. So you won't see the absolute up-to-date information here, but what we can do is we can see a breakdown by store. So we can see here that of the $38 I have, that I've made $15.79 in iTunes, $1.95 Apple Music, $1.43 Spotify, nothing virtually anywhere else. Google Play, $3.98, which is mostly me because I use Google Play. And yes, I do play my own music through Google Play so I can listen to it, just to check the releases when it actually comes out. So yes, it's probably not all me, but a fair amount would be me. Amazon Unlimited. Well, there you go. I didn't even know anyone used that or what that was. And then the DistroKid referral program. So as I said, full disclosure there, it's $15 because I get $5 to my account for every referral. So everyone that actually signs up with the 7% discount. So from your $20, you'll get 7% off, which if I was better at maths, I'd tell you what that was, about $19.40 or something like that. $18.40. There you go. So you do get a little discount. And as I said, they chip off $5 and throw it my way for referring you. So yes, I've literally made more money referring other people. Oh no, iTunes has just pipped it. I was going to say I've nearly made more money referring people to DistroKid than any platform of my music, but some people have actually bought it on iTunes. So the other thing we can do here, we can click on the See Excruciating Detail. And what this will do is it will actually give us excuse me, it will actually give us all of the different months and which songs and which tracks and exact earnings. So we can go right back here to when I first released this EP. We can see here that in the sale month of May, the reporting month of June 2017, two people bought my song actually, no, two people streamed my song on Apple Music and they're paying me like 1 cent for doing it. So you can see that all of these are very small amounts, which is why it's like excruciating detail, because no one's particularly going to want to come in through here. The interesting ones are probably things like the iTunes. So you can see here where someone's bought an entire song, and $1.69 Australian is what they paid, and my cut of that was 73 cents. So that's not DistroKid taking a cut. DistroKid give you 100% of your earnings. That is Apple taking their mandatory cut of all their revenue. And I should know this off the top of my head. I think it's a 70-30 split. You get 70%. I can't work it out off the top of my head. I think it's something like that because, yeah, it's 99 cents US, so 73 cents. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I could go through all of that in detail, but I'm not going to because that's every month and every service and every stream. But you can see that there's a lot of detail in there if you really want to see it. We can also split it here by date, artists. If I had multiple artists, I can do it by particular song. So if I want to look at my most recent track here for the Birds, I can do that, tap on display, and in a moment when it's thought about it, it's going to show me just that. And look, I have earned nothing. So the reason that I've earned nothing for that song is it's too recent. It hasn't actually reported out the earnings for that song yet. So as I said, it's a 2 to 3 month delay, and I think I released that song about not even 2 months ago. So once that actually has started to come in, we'll see that. So I chose a very bad one to show you there. We can download these, even though there's no data there. We can download that so that we can export it and send it into whatever platform we want, into Excel. So there it goes. It downloads a TSV, a tab separated values file. If you don't know about that, don't stress too much. But if you're a data nerd like myself, you can pull that into Excel. You can have a nice spreadsheet of all of your earnings and revenue. But for $38, I haven't quite bothered doing that yet. So that is our bank option. Some pretty cool stuff that we can do in there to see what's happening with our music. Now, and the other reason I guess that I wanted to upgrade is that I wouldn't mind having that daily reporting just to sort of see what's happening in a little bit more detail rather than just the month on month stuff that has quite a lot of delay and not a whole lot of detail to it. So that is what I'll be doing in the coming weeks and months. All right. And finally, I've gone into settings. This little cog icon over here is our settings. From here, I won't show you all of these in detail, but we can go into our account to change all of our details, our contact information. We can update our payment method. We can go and view our receipts. We can go to the referral program. So that's what I mentioned before, distro.studiolifetoday.com. I've set up the link that I get from here. My cover song licenses, which I only have one of, but you can actually download those to prove that, yes, if someone comes at you and says, hey, you covered my song, why aren't I getting royalties? You can say, hey, dude, I got my cover song license. You're all good. You'll get those 4 cents. They're on their way. The credits and liner notes. So that's all the people that helped out with your music. And that's a new feature, which I'll talk about in a moment because that's super cool. That's something that DistroKid's kind of leading the way with, which I think is awesome. The Vault. So you've got a free unlimited backups of your music file. So all of the high resolution WAV file masters that you upload, you can download at any time, which I've had to do in the past because I've actually lost a master of one of the earlier tracks. I think it was There's No Such Thing as College. I think I lost the original master that I recorded. So I needed to go in there and actually find and download my master. And I was like, yay, DistroKid. This is one of the cool reasons why I recommend distributing your music, because the actual version that is out there, I now have the original master for again. So yay, thanks to DistroKid. Lyrics and Apple Artist Image. So we can actually upload lyrics to Apple Music and iTunes, which I will do in another video because I think that's a really cool option. Lyrics are cool because once you get those out into Apple Music and iTunes particularly, they're the sort of things that that sort of metadata is what starts scanning. It's then searchable, things like the Apple TV or what's the other thing? Things like Google Play. As soon as you get the metadata out there, the more metadata you have, the better it is. And if you think things like, hey Google, play that song where they sing this line. I can't think of a song line off the top of my head. Hey Jude. Actually, that's the Hey Jude. That's a terrible example. Don't do that. Just say play Hey Jude. But that sort of thing, you know what I'm talking about here. I'm just not explaining it very well at all. We then have a bunch of Spotify options. So DistroKid have a bit of a Spotify partnership as well. So we can grow our Spotify fan base by sending them to custom Spotify landing pages. Spotify for artists. So we can actually go in and learn a little bit more about Spotify, who's playing us, who's streaming us, and I guess, get some analytics to see how we can improve our Spotify if that was something we're into, and Spotify artist separation. So making sure that if there's two Pete Johnses, that it's not linking my songs with their songs because that wouldn't be cool. And then YouTube whitelist. So one of the options that we have, which I didn't talk about much, but the YouTube money is one where you can actually get DistroKid to go to YouTube and find anyone that's using your song and then actually get paid. So get the royalties for that song being used because it is your copyrighted or your distributed material. And without doing anything about it, it won't happen. There'll be no sort of copyright claim there. And what you can do here is you can whitelist a song. So if you've chosen to do the YouTube money thing and then you're like, oh, actually, I then on-sold that song to someone else who's using it in a video and that person's getting in trouble, you can come in here and whitelist it to say, it's okay, don't go and sue them and take all their money because I let them use it, or whatever the case may be. So they're all of our options that we have here. And as I mentioned, we'll go back and go into some of those in more detail another day, but I'll show you quickly some of those because when we go back to my music, which I will click on here and go back to, we can actually go into some of these settings and options directly from each track, which is probably an easier way to look at it. So if we go in, I'll just choose this track here, which is Your Opinion, my single that I released about 6 months ago, I believe. And I'll show you the options that we get for this one when we go in. When it speeds up, basically we have the ability in here to, first of all, well, it gives us a nice freaky zooming in on our album cover, which is the gap between the words. Thanks, DistroKid. We get some important information here. So we get the release date. So it was the 5th of March, 2018. We get our UPC, our Universal Product Code. So this is an important thing. I guess less so, well, not really less so, now that it's online, but this used to be what was sort of the barcode, what was actually on CDs. So this is the universal product code that is the unique identifier. In fact, it might be unique product code. Anyway, I should have researched that before I did this video, but it's the product code. It's the details that separate this song or this release from every other release, and it sends that code to all the other companies when it distributes them to Apple, to Spotify, to all of the rest. So it tells me that this was successfully processed and delivered. I can remove it from all the stores if I so desire. I don't know why I'd want to do that right now, but I can if there was something wrong with it, perhaps. So say I released an album and then went, oh no, that one track was bad, it was the wrong version. We can remove it and then start again. I haven't ever done that because it seems messy and I don't know quite how it would work with all of the different platforms. It would probably take a while. If you've done that before, let me know. Drop a comment and let us all know. Was it hard? I just really don't want to do it. I'm so careful when I release because I don't ever want to have to do that. We have our album artwork, which was good. We have our songs here. We've got these options here, which I'll go to in a moment. Our ISRC, which I think is another thing I should have researched beforehand, another sort of unique code that is used for our music. My team, so I get 100%. So when I showed you those team options, we can actually edit those in here as well. The record label is the 66506 Records DK. So that's what it actually puts there. That's my DistroKid user number and Records DK for DistroKid. And that's what I can change if and when I upgrade to the next platform up. The stores that I'm at here. So it shows all of the ones that I'm already in. If I click here, I can add to more stores that I'm not in already, which by the looks of it, I should go back in and do, because what's actually happening is that DistroKid add more stores as we go along. So whatever Angami and KKBox are, and Napster, which is like the new Napster, not the old 90s file sharing Napster, we can add to them for free. So I should probably do that at some point. I'll probably do that after this video. And Shazam. So Shazam is the one platform that does cost 99 cents per year to have your song on Shazam. So if you really want people, if you think your song's going to be playing out and about and you want people to be able to Shazam your song, and if you don't know what Shazam is, it's a music identification app that you basically play. It listens to the music that you're hearing and then it tells you. It's actually a very cool app. Download Shazam. It's free. And if you hear something on the radio, do people listen to the radio anymore? If you're hearing something at a club, if you're in the club, because I'm always out in the club, then you can just have your phone out and go, yeah, what's this song? Oh, it's Pete Johns's Drinking With You. Great. I'll go home and I'll download 4 copies of that right now. So we can go ahead and do that if we so desire. we can then add the features that we saw. So the YouTube Money, the Store Maximizer, and the Legacy. So we can add those selected features that we want to, and then it just tells us that little bit more about what's going on there. So that is it. I did talk to you about these sort of options we have here, and we'll go into those briefly. So the lyrics, if we click on lyrics, it's going to take us in, not surprisingly, to our lyrics. So what we can actually do is we can paste in or type in, if we really want, all of the lyrics here, and I wrote these lyrics and control the rights. I grant Distrokid stores and streaming services the right to publicly display the lyrics. So this is something that I want to do with some of my tracks, and I'll come back and do a video just about lyrics in Distrokid and show you my story of how I do that, because I haven't done it and I do want to do it, because yeah, in iTunes it has lyrics, and more stores are starting to use lyrics to actually be additional metadata for your songs. So that would be a cool thing for me to explore. We'll go back to my music again, and we'll have a look at the other new items that we have here that we can now add. So I'm going to have to go all the way back in here, and as I've already discussed, we're a little bit slow on the network tonight. So we're going to go back into this Your Opinion single, and once it decides to cooperate and show me my big thing there, I talked about the download option. So that's just to download it directly from the vault, and that'll give us our full high-res master downloaded straight away, which is cool. And then the final thing that I'll talk about here is the credits. So this is something brand new, or at least relatively new. It wasn't there when I first started using Distrokid. What we can do is we can add in here all of our credits. So we can say who the songwriter was, any musicians, producers, engineers. We can talk about the studio, the gear, any contributions from other people. Can add social media links, contact information, acknowledgements, and notes. So there's a whole bunch of additional metadata we can send in here. Now, at the moment, different stores use different amounts of this in different ways. So it's not going to mean that suddenly someone on Spotify will have your website and your Facebook profile pop up when they're playing you on Spotify. That's a fairly long way away. But some things, so I think Deezer is one of the platforms that actually does put your social media links in there. I'm not sure. I know that Apple Music and iTunes use the lyrics, but so I think what DistroKid are doing here is getting on the front foot. They're going to start sending this metadata through, and metadata is basically just the information about your song, about your music, about the production. And they're going to send that metadata through, and then the store can use that in whatever way they want to. So it can't hurt, is my view with this sort of thing. I have been terrible at it. I don't have any of my metadata added or even my lyrics added. It's literally my name and my song and my album artwork, all of the bare minimum stuff, and I guess the genre, and that is it. So I need to get into this more. I need to actually explore some of these metadata options and get this set up for some of my songs. So again, that will be another video for another day where I will jump in and start looking at my metadata as well as some of those other options. Now, our final option over here is the very exciting sign out. So we'll do that now because we have reached the end of our video here. We will please wait, and we're back at our login screen. So I hope you found this interesting. We wanted to do this for a while just because there's so many features. It's very simple, DistroKid, but there's a lot under the hood. You can use it in a very simple way. You can just get your music out there, release it, and you're done. Or you can go into a lot more detail. You can dive in and really start looking at the analytics of who's streaming your music and where, especially if you upgrade to the next platform, so the next user account level. And there's a whole bunch of information in there that you can look at your tracks. You can add metadata in there, which is something that I need to start doing, and you can manage all of your releases. So as I mentioned, if you do want to release your music, if you're interested in DistroKid, you can head over to distro.studiolivetoday.com. The link will be down in the description as well. And if you do choose to sign up, you'll get a 7% discount. And as I mentioned in the video a few times now, they'll chip off a little piece and throw it my way. So it's a good way for you to be able to get your music out there and released, and for you to support the channel here as well. So thank you for watching. If you've got comments, questions, or suggestions, leave them down in the comments section below, and I will see you on the next video. Hey, thanks again for watching. How cool is DistroKid? If you would like to watch more videos, including a video about how to release music on DistroKid, you can click the links down below. You can also subscribe to the channel by clicking on the Studio Live Today icon, or head over to studiolivetoday.com for more audio goodness.